Have you ever found yourself at the end of a relationship, or maybe you were talking to someone and you were chasing down this person, trying to get their approval, and you finally got to date them or you had that experience with them, and at the end of it, you realized you wasted years and years of valuable time, resources, energy, and the momentum that you built up when you were a single guy doing your own thing, not focused on pleasing that other person or keeping them around. This is something I struggled with my entire life because of the way I grew up when I was younger. I was a constant people pleaser and I was antisocial because I had mild autism. So in order to fit in with people, I always felt awkward and uncomfortable. So when that girl finally gave me a chance, or someone I really found attractive finally started talking to me or giving me a little more attention, what I did was I constantly poured all my energy, all my soul, my money, my resources, my time into that person. And I kind of put myself on the back burner. And I started courting that other person. And what we're going to talk about in this video is how to court yourself as a man. This is something that most guys totally overlook. They'll go and take their wife on shopping sprees, trips. They'll absolutely spoil her and make sure that she is 100% taken care of. But meanwhile, that guy's drinking himself to death. He's totally depressed. He's emotionally shut down. He's drained mentally, physically. He's busting his balls just to finance her lifestyle. And a lot of times, many men just go on living this way quietly, and sadly, they die, and no one really talks about this. But we always talk about these controversial things on this channel, and we're going to be talking about in this video 5 super effective things that anyone can do starting right now. And these are 5 things I wish I would have done in order to show myself, and you're going to be able to show yourself by the end of this video, more self-love than you've ever done before. Instead of being like how I was, where you're constantly a people pleaser, always looking out for the needs and courting other people around you just to keep that affection and keep them liking you, being in that people pleasing mindset where you're a slave to their being a master. By the end of this video, you're gonna have 5 easy things that you can simply implement starting right now to dramatically improve your life, your future, and how you feel when you wake up tomorrow morning. So the first thing you can do is occasionally treat yourself. Now, it's really difficult, especially when you're an inspired young person, to get caught up in working 12 to 15 hours a day. This is something I had to do growing up a lot, and just wanting to build this lifestyle, live a certain type of way, be able to travel and do the things that I want to do, work from home when I want to. And what I found myself doing a lot of times was pumping my body full of a lot of cortisol, getting myself super stressed out, super hyper focused, and crushing it, doing 12 to 15 hours of work each day, but never setting a time aside to occasionally, reward myself and court myself and do fun local activities. And this is something any of us can do, especially if you're in a major metropolitan area. You can actually look up right now, because we have the power of the internet, depending on how you use it, can be used for good or bad. But you have the power right now to find absolutely free, amazing things that you can do starting today. And you can just look up 10 amazing things to do in whatever location you're at. Look those things up. For me, the other weekend, I took a ferry to San Francisco, which was literally only $18 round trip, $9 there, $9 back. I spent literally less than $100 the entire day while I was there. And it's the equivalent of having your own personal yacht. Yes, there are other people on there, so it's like you publicly are sharing it. But if you get yourself in the mindset and there's not a lot of people there, because I went during the week, what you can do is you can sit by yourself, and literally it feels like you own this boat, this yacht that you're on. And you can literally have this sort of multi-millionaire, billionaire-like experience of a fraction of the cost of a private yacht, or what that would be like with the upkeep and the maintenance. You know how stressful that is. You don't even have to worry about that. You can just pay $18 for a round trip on the ferry to go from Oakland all the way to San Francisco. Enjoy beautiful scenery. They have a full bar, they have snacks, and then it drops you off right at Fisherman's Wharf. And you're able from there to take a scooter or a taxi to wherever you want to go. I chose to take a scooter. I invested money into a scooter, so I was able to scooter around the city. And what that ends up saving you is hundreds of dollars that it would cost you through Uber rides or the little electric scooters that are on the street that you have to pay for. When you buy your own scooter, you invest up front that money, you're able to save money on the back end. So ask yourself right now, what is something that's maybe an hour to maybe 2 to 3 hours away from you that you can drive to and maybe just spend the day doing something completely awesome for free? I mean, minus the gas prices and the opportunity cost of you traveling over there instead of working an extra shift or whatever. But I had to seriously ask myself, as someone that likes to like work a lot and like I can get bogged down being very hyper focused on something, as someone with ADHD and Asperger's, I can just hyper focus and I don't like a lot of change. So I had to think to myself, hey, if I can be so hyper focused on earning a lot of money and working all these hours even when I don't want to, what's stopping me on an off day or a day where I need to take some time to actually live life? Why can't I hyper focus on creating something awesome for absolutely free and just buckling down, driving the 2 to 3 hours away and going to the redwoods or going to visit some beautiful mountain or go hike and climb and get myself out there? What is stopping me from doing that? So even when you're too tired on an off day to really go somewhere, just think about like the times that you've pushed through a 9 to 5 shift that you didn't really want to be a part of, but you were able to still push through and get it done, do what needed to be done. Maybe you had some bills that were due or rent was due. You had some insurance bills that you were behind on, and you had to buckle down and actually get it done. You were able to do that in the past. So why can't you do that on one of your days off and just hyper focus on making it a super awesome day, snapping out of that state where you're just complaining and feeling sorry for yourself and driving the extra 2 to 3 hours and making something of that time. The second tip I give you guys is to renew your mind during your downtime. Now, most people, and I was around this circle growing up, most people during their downtime, at especially kind of low levels, they'll tend to crap talk people during their downtime. They'll tend to get in circles where maybe there's a friend or a family member that's not present, and the people that are in that circle with you, what they'll do is they'll talk about the people that aren't there and their shortcomings. And what that does is it creates not only distrust within the group of people that are talking, because when I hear someone talking bad about someone else, I know that for a fact when I'm not around and there was someone else, they're going to be talking bad about me, and you should think about it that way. That's literally how it works. Don't think that they're not talking about you behind your back if they're sharing information about someone else that's not present, but it wastes your time and what you could be doing with that time. You could be talking about great business ideas, great books you read, you could be networking, you could be talking about some ideas, some cool things that you've done and why you would recommend to do these things, and inspiring other people and bringing positivity to that group. But instead, most people tend to crap talk. I find myself still doing this occasionally, and I really try to focus on not doing that. I'm getting better at it. It's still a struggle because I'm so used to doing it growing up, but just try to limit the amount of crap talk and get away from people that do that, because it just lowers the vibe, lowers the energy, and it completely drains you of what you could be talking about and the opportunity cost of what you could be talking about that day. And in addition to crap talking, most people also spend their time renewing or rejuvenating themselves during their time off by drinking alcohol and smoking or intaking cannabis, which if you study Dr. Amen and Dr. Huberman on YouTube, they'll tell you that alcohol especially, and cannabis also, we're finding new research about, when you constantly consume these things, it messes up your prefrontal cortex and your ability to basically push through hard tasks. When you go through something and you're sober, you have to be present in the moment and address those issues, and it actually challenges you, and it helps grow your prefrontal cortex to overcome that same situation in the future, because now you've built up that muscle memory. Your brain is literally a muscle. You have to work it and use it in order to keep it growing and in order to actually stay positive and stay alive, we're finding out. And when you burn through alcohol and cannabis, it destroys these neural networks inside your brain that are meant to help you have sustained focus, be able to communicate faster, be able to learn information faster, and actually rest your brain and go through a proper sleep cycle when you go to bed each night, because most of us don't when we consume alcohol. In fact, we actually barely sleep because our body is spending so much time recovering, filtering out the toxin, because it's literally a poison through your bloodstream, and you're actually not resting that much at all. Now, the third tip we're going to talk about is become more present to the moment. And I know if it helped me, it'll definitely help you. A lot of you guys that watch this video, you guys can relate to what I'm talking about. So you probably have Asperger's or ADHD as well, and we've gone through a similar journey. So when you're present to the moment, what it does is your thoughts throughout the day, you have to think about, we have 70,000 thoughts or just around there every single day. 70,000 thoughts just all over the place, right? So what it does is when your thoughts are going all over the place like this, when you meditate, what it does for 20 minutes is it stills the mind to a single point of focus. And this was something I really, really struggled with. And I still struggle with this to this day, which is why I try to at least spend 10 to 20 minutes every single day in quiet meditation where I just still my mind. I don't think about anything. And I just feel what my body feels like. I get present to the moment. It's nothing new agey or hippy dippy about it. You're just literally just feeling what your body feels like. You're understanding you're here for a purpose. You're enjoying life. You're taking in oxygen. You can feel the air moving through your body. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but just try it, okay? Don't knock it until you try it at least 20 minutes a day for at least a month or 2 months. You'll probably start seeing results within 2 weeks. Just your thoughts will become much sharper, much clearer. You'll be able to communicate easily, and you'll also be able to have a new perspective, which is what I had, on life and people around you. You actually become more forgiving of people because you'll realize that when you get quiet like that, there's always an underlying voice or a little chitter chatter. Some people call it Satan or like a demon that is running you and probably was created when you were younger. And you start to hear that chatter more and more when you get present to the moment because your thoughts are still, so it's easier to hear it. And then you're able to change. It's usually a limiting belief into something that's a positive belief and something that will help you grow and evolve into who you want to become. So you're able to silence that little demon and change it into a positive, uplifting voice and something that will actually help you on your journey instead of destroying you and making you feel like you're limited. Tip number 4 is read inspirational books. Now, the reason you want to read inspirational books, well, there's several reasons, but the main reason is because when you're reading about an autobiography of someone super inspiring, at least this is what I think it does to you. When someone is channeling all of that inspirational message and that energy into that book, or even like an audio or a video that you're watching online, if you watch motivational content, what you're doing is you're actually receiving a higher consciousness download. It sounds kind of crazy, right? But if you believe in God, you can kind of get where I'm coming from with this. You're actually receiving, that the purest form of a higher channeling of the energy and the mindset of that author. And when you're reading it, you're absorbing it and downloading that information as well. And you're almost like taking that on again. So when you go out in the world, or when you put that book down, you're way more inspired and your mind is filled and absorbs all these amazing ideas, and your creativity expands. You just want to help people. You want to do better for yourself, do better for the world. You're not so trapped in your head and like the little menial day-to-day things that bother you just become irrelevant. So read inspirational books to get inspired and take on that higher energy, but also read books because, like we talked about earlier, it builds up your prefrontal cortex and it challenges you. And a lot of us, in order to thrive in this new economy, we're going to have long sustained focus. And that's what the powers that be are trying to basically feed upon and take you away from mastering. We have all these short form clickbait content nowadays, TikTok, Instagram Reels, all these different things that are short form, flashy bits of information. Some of it's good, yes, but a lot of it's distracting and it's not going to help you evolve into a higher paradigm of who you're meant to be. And that's what the powers that be are feeding upon. And that's why we're seeing this pushed out so heavily. And we're seeing the attention spans of most people dramatically decrease. So if you read, especially a big challenging book, what you're able to do is significantly build up your prefrontal cortex to challenge yourself and overcome those menial little tasks throughout the day that you have to do in order to become successful when you're reading about how to build a business or create a better life or learn to eat healthier. All these boring kind of books that you don't necessarily want to read become a lot easier when you're a consistent reader and you're in that momentum of reading and constantly growing and challenging yourself. And tip number 5 is to get outside and do some adventurous activity. You can do hiking, skiing, surfing, whitewater rafting, rock climbing, whatever it is that challenges you, gets you out of your head where you're not just thinking about work and maybe the little menial small things that bother you throughout the week and the upcoming schedule that you're having. No, you need something that gets you absolutely engrossed in the moment. Like I said, like rock climbing, be careful, right? You don't want to like hurt yourself too bad or at all, but you want to do something that challenges you where there's like the chance that you could get hurt, but like realistically don't get hurt, right? This is not like medical advice. But you want to be present to the moment and you want to challenge your brain to build up your prefrontal cortex so that when you go back, your brain is stronger to actually accomplish the goals that you have and you feel refreshed because now your brain is actually growing gray matter and your neural networks in your mind are actually expanding. In addition to this, you're also getting fresh air, you're getting vitamin D, you're able to see more of the world and God's beautiful creation. And that's just going to keep you in a positive mindset for the weeks and months and years moving forward, especially if you make this a habit. I love you all. These are the 5 tips that I have for you. Drop a like if you found this information valuable and you learned something. Stay blessed.